In 2012, Frank had $340 in his bank account and a fishing boat that barely floated. Today, he owns 40 houses. Not stocks, not crypto. Actual houses with actual doors, actual roofs, and actual families living inside them. And it all started with one decision that everyone in his family called crazy. Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you will understand exactly what Frank did and why almost nobody has the guts to do it. This is not luck. This is not some secret trick. This is one simple decision anyone can make. Frank woke up at 4 in the morning every single day for 11 years straight. Cold hands, cold boat, cold ocean, even in summer. He caught fish, sold fish, and used that money to pay rent on a small apartment he shared with his wife and 2 kids. Some weeks were good. Most weeks were not. His kids didn't get new shoes very often. His wife worked 2 jobs just to keep the lights on. And Frank told himself the same thing every fisherman tells himself. Next season will be better. Then one winter, the fish just disappeared. A bad season. The kind that happens once every few years, but always at the worst possible time. Frank's income dropped by half overnight. He fell 90 days behind on rent, and his landlord was losing patience fast. That's when Frank noticed something strange. Right next to his apartment building stood an old house, broken windows, weeds taller than the front door. Nobody had lived there in 3 years, and it was for sale for only $52,000. Frank didn't have $52,000. He barely had $340. But he had one thing worth real money: his boat, worth about $8,500. The exact same boat that had fed his family for over a decade. And he had a plan that sounded completely insane to everyone who heard it. Sell the boat, his only source of income, the one thing that put food on the table, and use that money as a down payment on a broken house that literally nobody else wanted. His wife thought he had lost his mind. His father, a fisherman himself, didn't speak to him for an entire month. But Frank had done the math, over and over late at night. A boat gives you fish. Fish run out. Fish get sold once. But a house gives you rent every single month, whether you go to work or not. Rent doesn't run out. He sold the boat. He got a small loan for the rest. He bought the house. Then came the hard part. Frank had almost no money left for repairs, so he taught himself. Free videos online, late at night, after long days of odd jobs. New windows, new paint, new floors, ripped out and replaced by his own 2 hands. It took him 4 months of nights and weekends, and it cost him just $3,000 in materials. Then he rented it out for $700 a month. For the first time in his entire life, Frank made money without catching a single fish. Money landed in his account whether he worked that day or not, whether he was sick, whether he was asleep. That single feeling changed everything in his head. Now, here is where most people would have taken that $700 and finally bought their kids new shoes. And nobody would have blamed him. Frank did something different instead. He didn't spend $1 of that rent money. He saved every single check for 14 months. Then he went back to the bank and showed them something powerful. His fixed-up house was now worth far more than he paid for it. The bank agreed to lend him money against that extra value. He used that loan plus his savings to buy a second house. Think of it like a snowball rolling down a hill. It starts small, but every house makes it a little bit bigger, and a bigger snowball picks up speed faster than a small one ever could. Then a third, then a fourth, each one cheaper, each one broken, each one fixed with his own hands and turned into rent money. By year 3, Frank owned 5 houses, but it almost fell apart. In year 5, a storm ripped the roof off one of his properties, and the insurance company refused to cover the full damage. Frank was staring at a $22,000 repair bill he simply did not have. Everyone around him said the same thing: sell, cut your losses, go back to fishing while you still can. Instead, Frank picked up night shifts, stacking shelves at a hardware store, saved every extra dollar for 6 straight months, and fixed that roof himself over 6 brutal weekends. He didn't sell a single house. By year 6, he owned 15. By year 9, he owned 28. And by then, he had hired his first contractor, because one man's 2 hands can only do so much. Today, 12 years after selling that first boat, Frank owns 40 houses. Even now, with 40 houses to his name, Frank still wakes up early. Old habits die hard. But instead of driving to the docks, he drives to check on his properties, sipping coffee that he no longer has to rush. Here's the part that sounds like a fairy tale, but it's really just simple math. 40 houses, renting for an average of $1,150 each, add up to more than $46,000 coming in every single month. After every bill is paid, loans, repairs, taxes, everything, Frank keeps more than $20,000 a month, just from rent, every month, whether he works or not. That's roughly 10 times more than he ever made in his best year of fishing. But if you ask Frank what actually changed his life, he won't say the houses. He'll say the boat. Because the moment he sold the one thing that only paid him for today and traded it for something that could pay him for the rest of his life, that was the exact moment everything shifted. Most people never sell the boat. They keep trading their hours for dollars, day after day, year after year, because it feels safe. It feels certain, even while it's quietly running out, just like fish in a bad season. Frank didn't wait for a guarantee. He didn't wait until he felt ready or comfortable. He looked at one broken house that nobody else wanted, and instead of seeing a problem, he saw a machine that could print money for the next 40 years. You don't need a boat to sell. You probably don't have $52,000 sitting around either, and that's completely fine. But ask yourself this one question. What is the thing in your life that only pays you today, that you could slowly trade for something that pays you every single day for the rest of your life? Frank found his answer in a broken house with weeds taller than the front door. Yours might be sitting somewhere you haven't even noticed yet. If this story hit you, hit subscribe, because every single video on this channel is a real story about someone who looked at money differently than everyone around them. See you in the next one.
Guys, thank you for watching the video, and if you like this type of videos, I will upload these types of video every day. If you love these videos,
Thank you for watching. See you soon.